Hi guys, welcome back to Lost in My Library. My name's Kate. Today I am doing a tag. It is the Thoughtful Words tag. I saw Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff recently do this. This was originally created by Sandy Linder. I will leave links in the description to both of their videos if you would like to choose and watch them. Goodness, sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. My dad is playing loud video. Anyways, first question is catalyst. The catalyst or inciting incident gets the story moving. What's a book with a great hook or a memorable beginning? And first thing that came to mind was like a thriller or a mystery, something that generally has something in the beginning that will have that sets everything off for the rest of the book. And my first thought was my all-time favorite Agatha Christie novel, and that is And Then There Were None. In the beginning, I was talking about And Then There Were None. So in the beginning, we have 10 strangers who come to, or not 10 strangers, there's 8 of them, 8 strangers plus 2 people who work at the mansion that they're going to. They show up to this island, have no idea who each other are, how they're connected. They're just invited to this dinner party, and one by one they die. And it's really that first murder that happens that when they figure out, they discover the poem about it's not a great poem, but it's set well. The idea of the murders happening corresponding to this poem is very interesting, and that's what I love about And Then There Were None, because it's very it's not what you think. It's definitely not what you think. The things that happen that correspond with the poem. The language used is not good. It's very of its time, because this was written in the late 1800s, early 1900s, something like that. So it uses phrases that weren't good then, aren't good now, but were used back then. Number 2, foundation. A foundational book or a fundamental book could be a children's story or a YA novel from your past. What's a book that you consider an introduction to your reading life? So, not just reading life. Something I read so much when I was younger was the Goosebumps books. So not only has it been an introduction to my reading life, but it's also been a catalyst for my love of horror, and my love for just all things scary, and I think that's where a lot of horror lovers started, was with the Goosebumps books, in which they're not all that scary, minus a few. There are some genuinely scary ones, like Night of the Living Dummy, genuinely scary. Slappy is terrifying, still very terrifying, and there's different books that play on different phobias people could find more terrifying. But Goosebumps definitely was the earliest book I really remember reading were these these manners books. I couldn't even tell you what they were called. They were just in the library, the public library, when I was like little, and that's like the first books I remember, have vivid memories of going to the library and checking these books out. So nostalgia. We often imagine those things that bring back memories. What's a book that inspired you to text an old friend, or look up an old TV show online, or write a note to a past teacher? One of my closest friends when I was younger got me into Rick Riordan. She had read the Percy Jackson books, and fell in love with him. And for a long time, we would read these books together, and discuss them. She's kind of fallen out of them. They're just not her thing anymore. But I continue to read them, and I think of her when I think of Rick Riordan and my beginnings with Rick Riordan. She's the one who made me discover my all-time favorite author, and I thank her for that. She's great. Quick. In today's world, we're often in a hurry. What's a short story or novella you've enjoyed that made such an impression on you that you can't get it out of your mind? I don't know why the first thing that came to mind was Telltale Heart by Edgar Allan Poe. That's who it's by. I don't know why that was the first one that came to mind. It stepped into Edgar Allan Poe, obviously, like, right around when everybody does, high school, you know. I remember reading, what is it? It's the one where it's a detective short story by Edgar Allan Poe, where they're trying to find a thing in this office, and they discover that this mystery of all. I don't know why these are like Edgar Allan Poe are like the first few things that are popping into my head when it comes to like short stories. I also think of like graphic novels, which are also pretty short. I can't think off the top of my head, like, I don't know, maybe Funhouse. Funhouse was, I don't know, that's a graphic novel, and I don't know, it's not that long, but it's a story of discovering sexuality and dealing with trauma, basically. That was an interesting read. That it was supposed to be a book we were going to read for one of my classes. We ended up not reading it. After reading it now, I understand why my university probably didn't want that. But, like, it's a good book. It's a good book. It's an autobiography, by the way. Nature. We can't be always consumed by technology. What's a book, fiction or nonfiction, that inspired you with its message or characters to go outside? Did the book have animals for characters, for companions? Did the characters spend time camping or journeying through an outdoor world? I'm not an outdoorsy person. I really am not. But I do like Pumpkinheads by... fall is my favorite time of year. I love Halloween, fall. I love that time of year, going to pumpkin patches and all that kind of fun stuff. Love it. So Pumpkinheads has always, like, going to pumpkin patch and, like, experiencing that, doing all that fun stuff in the fall. It's a great time. Number 6, melancholy. Having a sense of melancholy is not necessarily a bad thing. It can give one time to relax and reflect. What's a book that broke your heart and made you think deep thoughts? The first one that comes to mind when I think of this is my best book of the year. I don't think anything's beaten this, to be honest, and that's Babel by R.F. Kuang. This book destroyed me in so many ways. It made me think. It's a book about magic that has to do with language, and it was beautiful, and there was so many things going on in Babel, and it was so good, so good. Best book I read this year. Beautiful book I bought, by the way, too. I don't know if I'm going to reread it. One, because, like, it destroyed me. After reading it, I was destroyed. And two, it's a very long book. It's not a book that you can just, like, it's not like Percy Jackson that you can sit and read for, like, an hour or two and finish it. No, this is, like, 800, 900 page book. It's massive, but so worth a read. If you have not read Babel, look up content warnings first. Then, if you feel like you can do it, then read it, because it's so good. So good. Just makes you think about colonialism, about how we use language, and different perspectives on different things. It's an interesting book, definitely. Penultimate, what's your favorite or best second to last book? Second to last book in a trilogy or series. Why was it so good? My all-time favorite book is the second to last book. And, I mean, it's the Percy Jackson universe, but in the series that it's in, it's the second to last book. That is House of Hades by Rick Riordan. What makes it so good is that we have a whole book, or at least have a book, that is just Percy and Annabeth. That's it. Half the book is just Percy and Annabeth together. That's it. As a couple, doing couple things, and it's so dang cute and heartbreaking and hard to read sometimes. But oh my goodness, I love House of Hades so much. It's also a turning point for a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of interesting things that are happening in House of Hades with magic and Hazel, how Hazel uses magic, and having the group kind of, without Percy and Annabeth, who are driving forces in leadership, with Percy being super powerful, and Annabeth just being wise and just, like, very strategic and one to plan everything. Having them gone, seeing how the group figures all of this out, like, moves on without Percy and Annabeth, or trying to get them back. It's an interesting book. It's very good. Highly recommend. Love it. Restorative. We can all use something that brings us back to reading. What's a book, fiction or nonfiction, that pulls you out of a reading slump or lit a fire in your soul? I think Rick Riordan. Just, like, his books are super easy to sit down and read, and they're comforting. They're just comfort reads. Like the Percy Jackson series, the first series, is just easy to sit down and read in, like, a day, if you want to. And they're just comforting. The characters are great. You fall in love with them. The ending destroys you. It's just heartwarming, and they're easy and good. I just love them. I love Percy Jackson, if you can't already tell. Gift. What's a book you would give to a dear friend as a birthday or Christmas present, and why? This year I think it would have to be Babel. Because Babel it's just so good. It's so good. And I think in the time that we're living in right now, it should be read. It's just so good. It's so good. And I want to go back and reread it. I just don't think I have the time to go back and reread it. Which is sad. It's sad. I can't. I don't think I have the time right now to go back and reread an 800, 900 page book. But that's it. It says tag people. I'm so bad at tagging people. So if you haven't done this, you are tagged. Tag your hits. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Go be a good cabbage today. Do something kind for someone, even if that is for yourself. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.